Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we're taking a look at the 4-1-2-1 wide, the second variant, which is the narrow variant. We're going to be taking a look at that formation, showing the best custom tactics and instructions, and just generally a really great way to use this formation for maybe this week in league if you choose. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It does massively help us out, especially at this time of year. Drop a thumbs up as well if you do enjoy the content. Now this 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation is personally not a favorite of mine. It's not a formation that I personally have managed to get on well with this year. Not to say it's not a bad or a good formation, just from my personal experience, I've not had a great relationship with this formation. I personally like a little bit of width in my team. I don't personally like the narrowness of this formation, but I feel like I've managed to create a good set of custom tactics and instructions that I did find work pretty well for me. So without further ado, going into the tactics, these are the tactics that I did end up deciding on. As I said in the previous video, if you did watch the previous video, using any of these press, so whether it's constant pressure, press on possession loss, or heavy touch, in narrow formations, they don't really work, because if you play against like a half decent player, the easy way to play out of a press is to use the width, and obviously being a narrow formation, you don't have any width, so all you have to do is just chip it out to a fullback or a wide midfielder, and you're good. You know, you get past the press. So really playing on a press is kind of pointless for a narrow formation, which is why I decided to go with the balanced defensive style. In terms of width, I ended up sticking to around about 4 width. I think it was the best way to play. Again, I kind of just stuck to what was this formation was, and it is quite a narrow formation, so I didn't decide to go, you know, crazy wide or anything like that. I just went with 4 on the width for the defense. Depth wise, I went on 5, pretty much standard for us. But fast build up, this is something that I've been using a lot recently. Now I've been using a lot of long ball this year, and it's been super effective. But I've just been using it in with my main team and in draft when I've been playing a few drafts here and there. Fast build up has really, you know, it really works to the way I like to play. I like to play a really quick, fun, you know, attacking style of play. Lots of skill moves and dribbling, as you guys have seen in many of the clips. So fast build up really does suit me, and I've been using it a lot recently. And the negative is that it does drain your stamina quite heavily. So you do have to have, you know, really high stamina players, because it does drain them really fast. You need to have good subs as well. But the positive is, because of the way I like to play, it just means I'm able to really get good flowing, quick attacks going. It just suits my playstyle. And again, with this formation, it works really well because everybody's really close together. You know, it's very 4-1-2-2, obviously very narrow. So you have lots of really easy passing triangles. And it just works really well for this formation. Offensive width, I always go a little bit wider when it comes to offensive width. I do like a little bit more width. Obviously, the formation is quite narrow, so 7 width works really well. You know, it's a good amount of width, but it's not super wide that it's going to leave you exposed in the midfield. Players on the box, 5 corners and free kicks, all as standard as usual. Now, when it comes to the goalkeeper and the centre backs, that is all as standard as always. The goalkeeper, we've got Allison on the sweep keeper, and obviously the fullbacks and the centre backs, we've got stay back while attacking and overlap. You could also, you know, try conservative interceptions on the fullback as well if you want to not have your players sort of really dive into tackles and have a really solid back four. Then conservative interception is the way to go. Personally, in this formation, because we don't have any width, I think normal interception is a little bit better. Maybe I want to be a little bit more aggressive because people are going to attack down the wings. So you definitely, I think normal interceptions is the way to go. But naturally, we want the back four to be the fullbacks are really important. For me, they have to be on stay back, because if they go forward, you're just going to get opened up on the wings, because you don't have any wingers or wide midfielders to slot in front of your back four in those wide areas to really neutralize any of those attacks. So I think the fullbacks have to be on stay back while attacking. The CDM, we've got this 93 Axel Witsel, cut passing lane, stay back while attacking. I went for normal interceptions on Witsel. Again, I think, you know, there's plenty of cover in the midfield. So you could maybe go for aggressive interceptions, but I think for me, I like to have my CDM, you know, not be super aggressive. I want him to keep his position and not get out of position as little as possible. So stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, and cover centre. You could try man mark. Man mark is something that I have been using a lot this year, but I actually found cut passing lane worked very well in this formation, so I decided to stick with what was working. And then the 2 outside midfielders, Tony Kroos and Muller, we've got pretty much just balance as standard. You know, I've actually got cover wing. Now, cover wing is something that I've never used, but I think because of this formation, because it is such a narrow formation, I actually think it's quite effective. You do have a decent amount of cover in the midfield anyway. Obviously, your fullbacks are staying back, and those wide midfielders, they're not going to get like super wide in terms of they're not going to go like all the way out to the touchline. They're kind of just going to go a little bit wider, and I think that's really important because your fullbacks are kind of covering the real width. Your wide midfielders can kind of cover sort of the inside width, you know, the inside channels. It is going to mean you are a little bit more exposed in the middle of the pitch, but because our defensive width is a lot narrower, you're not going to be like super wide, so it's not going to be horrendously bad. So I found cover wing, actually, this was the only scenario this year that I actually found cover wing actually works. And because we're using box-to-box midfielders, we don't want them going forward, we don't want them going back, we don't want them really getting into the box or staying on the edge of the box. We just want them completely balanced, and that really worked for us. We've then got the 94 Kai Havertz at cam. Now get into the box for crosses, free roam, and aggressive interceptions. Obviously, aggressive interceptions works really well on your strikers, especially if you're not playing on a press. Playing on aggressive interceptions will almost let your front three. It's like they'll be playing on a press, but the rest of your team isn't. So aggressive interceptions, something I've been using a lot recently, especially during team of the season, and it's worked really, really well. Free roam, of course, is the tactic I always use for a single cam, especially the central cam. It works super well. He really gets around the pitch and creates a lot of havoc, gets into lots of spaces, and just makes it really easy for you to create chances. And then for the two boys up top, we've got obviously that 99 Lewandowski and Marco Reus. So we've actually got them on balanced width. Now, I didn't want them on stay central because I just think that would make your team a little bit too narrow. I think you want a little bit of width. You know, we did go 7 width on the offense. You want a little bit of width at the top end of the pitch, which is why I went for the 2 strikers on balanced width. They're almost going to play like left and right forwards rather than left and right strikers. And it just works very, very well. They were able to still link up. You know, obviously Havertz is drifting a lot behind them and almost can sometimes come up behind them and make the runs beyond them. You still find that link-up play is relatively easy. And obviously, when you've got 2 really good quality players like we do, you know, we're fortunate enough to have, they can just have those little bits of individual moments of magic on their own. Getting behind works really well, obviously, utilising that pace. You know, obviously, that Lewandowski's now got 99 pace on him with the chem style I've got. And again, the aggressive interceptions just works really well. It means those front 3 are going to play like a press. They're going to be really aggressive, getting your opponent's face, which is what we want, without the rest of our team suffering. So that is it for the 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. A formation that, for me personally, I'm not a fan of. I don't like the narrow formations, you know, and it's not just this one. It's any of the narrow formations. I'm just not a huge fan of. You could say 4-2-3-1 as well. But the thing about 4-2-3-1, obviously, the left and right cams do give you a bit of width. But these, like, proper narrow formations, you know, the 4-3-1-2, you know, this 4-1-2-1-2, I'm just not a fan of the narrow formations. I think you need width in FIFA. Personally, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not the be-all and end-all to all knowledge in FIFA. I personally find it's a lot easier to play FIFA when you do have width. So if you do want to use this formation and you manage to make this formation work, then my hat's off to you, because it's not a formation that I personally enjoy playing. But if you want to use this formation, these tactics and instructions, hopefully you will get some good use out of them and some good joy out of them, and it will work really well for you maybe this weekend if you want to try them out. But that is it for the video, guys. So if you do want to see any more formation videos, make sure you drop a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you do find the content useful. Big thank you to everyone's support recently. It has been immense, obviously, at this time of year. So I just want to say a huge thanks to that. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.